I use this as an example to say it's marble, but it's just stiff clay. Don't think of it as stone. Don't just because you carved it doesn't mean it's right. This is the biggest piece that I brought back. It was up against the wall of the container, so I could get it in the container. I also wanted to bring back a lot of marble, so I brought back, 7 or 8 tons of just raw stone. And I go back every year, like that crate up there is my recent acquisition of stone, and purchase more blocks. But this was a big piece. Finished, this is 7 tons. I wanted to carve this on the face of the mountain. And I had a specific spot that I wanted to carve it in an old abandoned quarry. So they had already gone there and cut into the mountain in that spot. And they had left, and the quarry was abandoned, and so the walls of the quarry were just there. And I wanted to go back into that abandoned quarry and carve this angel for the angel for the quarrymen. You see, the quarrymen gave up their lives so that the world could have marble, so that the world could have art. And the quarryman, again, is an unrecognized hero in my book. And so I want to honor the quarrymen. And the concept here is that the angel has come in and picks up the body of the fallen worker and flies back into the mountain.
Wow.
And he sheds a tear for each one. And he lets them know that it's God's will. And they blew a trumpet when someone died in the quarries. And the sound of the trumpet would go out over the valley, and the people in the villages would hear the trumpet, and they would stop work, and everyone would hike up towards the quarry, knowing, and the quarry people would be carrying the fallen bodies down, and so
it gives me chills.
The trumpet was an important aspect of symbol of the sculpture. So, and the fact that you see this natural stone is left here because the angel is metamorphosizing back into the mountain. Mm-hmm. And so this part of the wing is already turned back into this part of the mountain, He came out, he's done his business, and now he's going back. And pretty soon, the whole thing will cover up and be solid stone again.
Well, now.
And so, from dust unto dust, you go back into the mountain for which you gave your life.
Oh, and it's so comfortable, too.
What's the story on this piece, then?
Well, this piece has numerous stories. Knight came from a block of marble from a wonderful quarry called La Joya. So it means joy.
Oh, so this... there's the dog likes it.
That's a good place for her, yeah.
That's for you, baby.
And,
but this is from Italy, then?
This is from Italy, yeah. Huh. And the first story is that this leg used to be in front of this leg. This leg used to be, the toes were out here someplace. It came out in front of this leg and came over here. And I got it all the way carved down to the toenails. And I didn't like it because it sort of closed off the sculpture. And I wanted to expand it. So I just cut it off right about mid-thigh. And then carved that whole leg back in here, and then carved behind, used that material behind there.
That was hard.
And pushed that whole leg back behind that leg. So I use this as an example to say it's marble, but it's just stiff clay. Don't think of it as stone. Don't just because you carved it doesn't mean it's right.
Yes.
And if it's wrong, change it and make it right. I work on multiple pieces at a time. I'll maybe get going on a piece and I'll stay on it for a long time and get it to a certain point. But then other things come up and I get it to that point and I think, well, if a client's interested, they see how it's going to be, and if they really are interested, I'll finish it.
find your clients?
Well, it's always an ongoing experiment. In Italy, we lived on a major highway, or the studio was on this major highway. We lived on a tiny little street inland, but the studio was right on this major highway, and it had wide shoulders. And I had sculptures the scale of the David
Wow.
in my space. 25-ton pieces.
So they stood out.
So you couldn't drive by it and not see it. And there was a stoplight there, just
Perfect.
300 feet from the studio was a stoplight. So people often were held up in traffic and would just have to look. So there was a constant flow of all the Italy years of people through the studio, and we would sell regularly every month, every 6 weeks we would make a sale. So I've actually, just very rarely shown in a gallery. My works have been sold directly out of the studio. When we moved here, obviously we realized no one was going to come here. So that's why we do the public on-site carvings, because that gets us out. We see a lot of people, we hand out a lot of business cards. We still haven't gotten any big collectors coming here, one or two, and we've made 1 or 2 sales to them, but they're not coming back and buying more and more and more.
Who is your typical client?
It's really a big variety. Because I produce a lot, and a certain amount of my production is for sale to the wealthy. These things that obviously are going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars.
And they're going to be in a Napa driveway or something like that.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. I've sold to vineyard people, for instance. And then there's another body of work that I produce that is smaller, and but still out of high quality stone, and I'll sell throughout the year through contacts that we make casually 1 or 2 or 3 of those pieces. And they run in $3,000 to $5,000 range that a lot of people can afford. I sell another group of pieces at really discount prices. And it's often when I'm on the road and I'm working on the road. So it's not like I can haul them away with me. I'm carving it in 1 a day or 2 days, and I'm using a local stone, and people locally buy it for 1 or 2 days of work. Like they would hire a plumber for a day, So I just get your basic workman's wage, but it's cash and money in my pocket. Then the last little group of pieces that I do, about 15 I give away, because I think art ought to be it's not about money. You gotta give it away. And I love what happens when I hand one to the trash guy, or the mail lady, or it's just someone who you have contact in your life, or we're on a project and it's just, there's the guard that lets you in every day at the work site, and when you're getting ready to go, you can just walk up to him and hand him a little sculpture, and they go, "Is this for me?"